Alright, good afternoon everybody. Should be having a lovely Tuesday and ready to knock out your Sophia video. So it is going to be module 12.2, creating equations in real life scenarios. So go ahead and get this out and I will start the video in just a second. Okay, so here's the first one. This should be the one that you see on your notes, and it says Marilyn has a fish tank that contains 38 fish. There are 9 goldfish and F other fish. Now what we want to do with this little scenario is we want to take it and form an actual equation out of it. So what we're going to look at is what operation we're doing and what is the information that we have. So we know that Marilyn has a total of 38 fish. So what that's going to be is her total. Whatever that is going to be her goldfish plus the other fish, because we're looking for a total, so we're going to add the two together. So all you need to do on this one is say that you have 9 goldfish plus F of the other fish gives you 38. So 9 plus whatever F is equals 38, which is how many total fish that Marilyn has. Alright, so that's kind of what we're going to be doing today, is looking at different scenarios like this, but it's not always going to be addition. We're going to use all of our other operations as well. So go ahead and fill that in, and then we'll look at number 2. Alright, so here's number 2. Juanita has 102 beads to make N necklaces. Each necklace has 17 beads. So I know that we have a total of 102 beads, and the question is asking us, how many necklaces can I make with 102 beads? Well, the important part is that each necklace has 17 beads. Okay, so we've kind of broken down the actual scenario, and once again, we know it's an equation because it's telling us how much we have total. It's giving us a definite answer. So I know that we have 102 beads, so that's good, and we want to know how many necklaces can we make if each necklace costs, or is going to have 17 beads. So what we would do is we would take 17 and we would put N, because 17 times N has to equal 102. And so what we would do is we'd solve out for N, which we guys will talk about with Mrs. Sorrells tomorrow. But what I want you to be aware of is that if you multiply N, the number of necklaces, by 17, it'll take up all 102 of your beads. Alright, so here's your first Google Doc question. Now make sure you're filling it out in the workspace for the Google Doc. That just helps us keep all of our notes together and see what you guys did. So go ahead and pause the video and solve this one out. Remember, you will be putting it into the Google Doc at the end, but go ahead and answer the question now. Okay, question number 3. Craig is C years old, so there's our variable C, and his 12-year-old sister Becky is 3 years younger than Craig. Okay, so we know that Becky is 3 years younger than Craig, so what we're going to do is write an equation that would help us to determine that age. Okay, so we know that Becky is 12, so there's our answer, which helps us determine that it's an equation. We've got equals 12, and we know that C is Craig's years. So we know that if we take whatever Craig's age is and we subtract, because it's 3 years younger, so we're going to get less, we subtract 3 from whatever Craig's age is, we would get 12. Okay, so whatever Craig's age is has to be 3 more than 12, or vice versa. Becky has to be 3 years younger than Craig. Alright guys, go ahead and answer Google Doc question number 2. Please use the space provided on your notes. Write down your answer so that you can move it over to the Google Doc at the end of the video. Please pause now. Alright, so question number 4 says Sonia rented ice skates for H hours. So the variable H is going to represent hours, and the rental fee was $2 per hour, and she paid a total of $8. So we know that her total is $8. That's how much she paid. And we want to write an expression to determine how many hours that she actually had the ice skates. So we know that's $2 per hour. And that means it's going to cost $2 for every hour that we do. So if we know it's $2, we can multiply it by H and determine the total number of hours that would give us $8. So 2 times the number of hours equals $8. Okay, so that's all we want to do is just write an equation that would help us to formulate that answer. So 2H equals $8. Alright, it's your favorite thing ever, Google Doc question number 3. Go ahead and pause the video and take care of that, please. Okay, so go ahead and flip over your notes to the back page. We're now going to do the opposite. Instead of building an equation based off the scenario, we're going to look at what do we do if we have an actual equation, and then we're going to figure out the scenario. So it's just the exact opposite of what we were just doing. So go ahead and turn that over. Make sure you have a pen or pencil so that you can write your scenarios for each of these upcoming equations. Okay, so these are things that you can get either really creative with. I know some of you guys are, and some of you guys might want to just come up with something that seems fairly simple to you in your head. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to show you some basic ones so that we can keep the video short and just give you an idea of what we will be covering in class tomorrow. So let's see here. My equation says 14 plus x equals 46. So we want to figure out some sort of situation or scenario that would make this true. So for instance, one we could do is say that Mr. Nelson has 14 pins. A student gives him X more. Mr. Nelson now has a total of 46 pins. Okay, so go ahead and copy that down, but let me just kind of break it down what I did. So I said that Mr. Nelson has 14 pins right here. We know that his total amount of pins is 46. So whatever the amount of pins that a student gave him is going to be X. So if I add 14 plus X, which is the total number of pins he was given, he would now have a total of 46 pins. Okay, so go ahead and pause the video. Make sure you've got that entire example copied down. Alright, here's our next one. So we've got D minus 4 is equal 19. So, again, as I mentioned in the last one, there are a ton of examples that you come up with. So what yours are going to be dependent on what you think about. It can be really creative, it can be pretty basic, or it can just be a little bit of both. So for this one, I know that I have a variable and I'm using subtraction. So whatever I've got, I'm taking away 4 and it's got to equal 19. So this goes back to the front page when we had the one about the age, and it was Craig's age and Becky's age. That's kind of where this one comes from. So I could say that Tom is 19 years old. Tom is 4 years younger than his older brother Mike. Okay, so Tom is 19 years old and Tom is 4 younger than his older brother Mike. D represents Mike's age. So whatever Mike's age is, if I take away 4, it's going to give me Tom's age. And for this instance, whatever it is, minus 4 gives you 19. So again, we're just writing scenarios based off of the equation. So go ahead and pause the video and make sure you've got that one copied down. Here is Google Doc question number 4. What I want you to do is I'm giving you an equation. I want you to look at this equation and tell me which one of the following scenarios would be correctly used for that equation. Which one could you use that equation for to actually solve? So go ahead and pause the video and answer that, please. Okay, I went ahead and did this next one. And so it's 25 is equal to K over 5. And Travis has K cookies. That's how many total cookies he has. And he wants to divide the cookies evenly into 5 groups. So I'm going to divide my total number of cookies by 5 so that everybody gets 25 cookies, which is over here. So however many total cookies I have, I want to divide it by 5 so that everybody ends up with 25 cookies. Okay, so go ahead and pause the video and get this one copied down. Okay, and the last one. So I've got 5Q is equal to 31. Leo has Q baseball cards, and Leo wants to multiply his cards by 5 so that he will have 31 cards total. So you're going to take the number that he has and multiply it by 5, and that would give you 31 total. So go ahead and pause the video and get this one copied down. This is your last one. And here's your last Google Doc question. I'm going to leave this pause for a second so that you guys can copy it all down. Good luck. Make sure you solve all these. Make sure you submit your Google Doc. Bring your notes to class. There are no excuses. We don't want to have to call anybody else out tomorrow. Have a wonderful Tuesday night, and we look forward to seeing you tomorrow.